On our last episode, we made some good progress building up our starter factory. And with all the resources we got, we were able to finish tier 3. And that means that now we kind of need to move into the next step of production. And those being coal generators and steel. We unlocked both of these things on the tier 3. We also unlocked vehicles, so we might want to use those as well. But mainly coal generation power and steel production. So after scanning to find myself some coal, because that's what we need, I also brought my trusty chainsaw and basically deleted this entire forest. Yes, I promise you there were trees here before, and well, now there's just the coal nodes over there. There's a silicon node over there, and there's an iron and a copper one that are situated right over there. And well, I cleaned the forest because I needed tons of resources for my biofuel generators, and I wanted the space so I can freely build anything I want. And that's where we're going to be starting right now. Well, you see, one of these bad boys, one of these coal generators, is actually amazingly powerful. But it requires two inputs. It requires water and also requires coal. Now, the first thing to have in mind is that we have normal coal nodes over here. There's other types of coal nodes, like there's a pure there, and there's impures all the way over there, and there's even more further up. But these are just the ones we are going to be using, and they're all normal. Which means a regular miner is, well, not gonna give us a crazy amount to start with. We can see that a normal one gives us 60 coal per minute. So we gotta try and manage that in our machines. Now, by bringing a little bit of coal into the coal generator, we can see that it's actually going to be burning 15 per minute. So if we have 4 coal generators, it's gonna burn the 60 that we're outputting from our miner. But you see, we can make this better because we have belts that go up to 120 items per minute. So if we can get 120 coal per minute, it means we would also be able to put 8 of these. Now, the best part about that is that we do have more coal nodes over there that we can use. For example, we have one right next to that one, so we could merge both of those together and we have 120. But we can also overclock that single one, so that single one is outputting 120. And that means if we do the same to the left one, we would get another 120. So instead of only having 8, we can have 16 of these bad boys. And if we're gonna have 8 per ore, we also have to do math with the water extractors as well. So if we go over here, we can actually see that this guy is going to be output 120 milli buckets or metric cubics of water. And if we go into the coal generators, they consume 45. So if you click on the letter N on your keyboard, you actually get a little bit of a pop-up here. And you can also use this to make math. I know, right? Pretty cool. So for example, we have 45 cubic meters of water being consumed times 8. That equals 360. Now this guy is doing 120, so 120 times 3, well, 360. So for 8 of these coal generators, we need 3 water extractors. Now, to make our lives easier, I placed these guys here, and we should actually start with getting in the coal. Because you see, we have to input water here, we have to input coal here, and we can't have like manifolds going straight through here, or a line of belts going straight to here, and then pipes as well, because that would look messy. So what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to get ourselves some lifts, and we are going to be lifting this bad boy up just like that. And now I believe if I can just click these on, and they should immediately all do the same thing at the top. There we go. And that means that whenever we're going to be bringing our coal, we're going to put it through there. And then we got to do the pipes. So to do the pipes, unfortunately, they still haven't added the functionality that you can just connect pipes and have the pipes automatically do the 90-degree turn. So like, for example, with belts, that you have that straight build mode. You don't have that with pipes. But you can just use pipeline junctions, you see. So if we bring this guy out around here, we can then just, of course, easily put a pipe there. And of course, this will be the thing that is allowing us to do this 90-degree turns. Now you can do them manually, or you could even just put a pipe here, and then you can, because this is basically a splitter and a merger in the same one. So if you just have a regular pipe and you aim this at the pipe, it will also snap into the pipe and then allow you to just branch off in any other direction. But I like to place these guys first, because then it allows me to do this and then just have the pipes being perfectly aligned with everything I need them to. And of course, I believe, yeah, exactly, that entrance should also be aligned here. Now you can see there's a bunch of build modes, like we have horizontal to vertical, we have the auto, we have auto 2D, and then we have the noodle ones, but of course we don't have the straight version, which is sad. But we can do it, we can do something like this. Of course, if we don't fall into the water, you see that it will do the 90 degrees going upwards, but it's not going to do them going sideways. And another tip, if you just do the default height for the belts, then you can just use a foundation like this one, a 4 height foundation, and the belts will be at the same height as the elevator. So we're going to use this to, well, do something dirty here, so that we can take care of our belts and then just remove this, and the belts will be perfectly aligned. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to grab ourselves some splitters. Now I intend on having this line of coal coming from that side, which means I have to make sure that my splitter is aligned perfectly. We're going to align it in the middle of the foundation, just like that. Of course, we don't necessarily need to have it like this. We can use the same trick as I said before, and we can also just snap it into the head of the elevators. And you can do this to every single one of these. And then you just have the belts connected on the far side. But I do want to see the belts just running in this area. So I am actually going to give it a lot more space than I would normally do. Oh, autosave coming in. Time for a couple of copy. And of course, we cannot forget that we're bringing in a Mark II belt, which means 120 items. But this version here, this belt that comes off the splitters, doesn't need to be a Mark II. So if you're struggling for resources, you can save there and just leave it as a Mark I. Because this guy only takes 15 coal per minute, which means this belt doing 60 is more than enough. But we can also do some math over here. So if we have 120, 15 go there, then we have still 115, which means this one still needs to be a Mark II. Another 15 go there, which means we have 90, so this still needs to be a Mark II. Another 15 go there, which means we still have 75 here. And so this still needs to be a Mark II, but here on out, since these 4 ones have taken up 60 coal, this one we can leave as a Mark I belt. And by doing this, you can save up on some resources. And now that we have everything set up, there's another problem. And that problem is that we do not have power here. These guys need power to work, the miner needs power to work. And even though, well, this is going to be making us power, it currently isn't, because it's not turned on. So we gotta bring power here from our base. Oh, and I also went ahead and grabbed 2 of these doggos. They're very, very good, because often they just give you tons and tons of items. And they might be giving you like super advanced stuff, and you can like save it and put it in a chest. And if you don't want it, you can just, well, send it into the sink. It's gonna give you tons of coupons. But we need this, our power lines. And in order to get that all the way to the coal area, which is here, I'm actually gonna bring a road as well. You see, I intend on actually having this area be a truck area over there. So I'm going to be bringing in trucks, taking on items from the coal area and bringing them onto here. So that's why this guy's here already. It's actually been helping me a lot. But we need to take roads all the way there, or else, well, things can get a little bit bumpy on the ride. So I'm gonna just go ahead, grab some of these foundations, which, by the way, they're actually the asphalt foundation. There you go, that you can buy on the shop. They only cost concrete, so they're nice. And I'm just gonna bring this all the way down to our coal area. Oh, I did just realize something, and that is I can take advantage of this little thing. What is this? Well, this is the blueprint machine, which we now can unlock, and I'm gonna do just that by having some steel beams that I had from exploring around the world. We can now send our pod and get blueprints. And luckily, I barely have the resources to actually build it. But why do I want this? Well, this can make my process of deploying these things a lot easier. You see, if we just grab onto one of these foundations and we put it inside, right in the corner, then we zoop it all along. This is a 4x4 area. This is the tier of the Mark 1 of the Blueprint Designer. It goes all the way up to a Mark 3. So we have a 4x4, and then later we'll be having a 5x5 and then a 6x6. But right now I'm using two foundation, like, roads, I guess you can call them that. So this is perfectly enough. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna save this single blueprint right here. Exactly, just like that. So we're gonna come over here, we're gonna call it the floor or asphalt 4x4. There we go. Then we can even select an icon, which I guess we're just gonna put it as a foundation. Can we put, like, asphalt foundation one? Is that even here? Maybe? Yes, there we go. Found it. So now we have an asphalt 4x4, and we can just save that blueprint. Of course, we can also just set the directory, which means we can actually put it some specific place, like from in our work we can make folders and we can have a lot of these things organized. We're probably going to be doing that later, but for now all I really need is this. We don't need that, we just want to use that one, which means now if we go all the way here up to blueprints, we have this. And if I just click on the number 6 on my keypad, it goes into the number 6 in my hotbar, which is amazing. And now I can just basically deploy this anywhere we want, which is amazing. And that means we can actually get rid of all of these, because this is just a temporary thing. The blueprint designer is not gonna be staying here. Okay, so now we just give this little boy 2 power shards to make sure that he is actually going at 120 coal per minute, and I already brought, well, a road all the way down here, and this took a lot of resources, but it will be worth it. And as you can see, I brought the power in, and that goes through all the way through there, but at the moment it's only connected to the water extractors, so that they can actually pull and pump out water to fill in the pipes, which then will fill in all of the coal generators. Now I do have a little bit of a severed connection here, because I wanted to get my hands on this. So now if I just dismantle this, I'm gonna have my inventory completely filled with coal. The coal will now, like, back up and hopefully start to fill in, because I just turned the tier 2. So now it all should look like this and do not have any sort of space. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go manually and input all the coal into here, so that I can have a little bit of a kickstart. And it's fine if they are already connected and they are already producing. That doesn't really bother me anymore, because we have the coal to just keep them running for a while, and the production is going to go through the roof. Now all we need to do is reconnect that belt with that, And then we can just pick this bad boy up because we don't want to leave it just randomly in there. We do have this like random coal we don't need, we can toss it off. But now we should have automated coal power. So I double it, and now I have 2 lines of 8, which means now I got the full 16 coal generators. But that's out of the way, and I did say that I made all of that road going into, well, the coal area. Use trucks, or in this case, a tractor, because we don't have trucks yet. But we got tractors, which means we can use the truck stations to do something pretty cool. Now, a couple of things that we have to pay attention to is that we need fuel. And, well, at the moment, the only source of fuel I have is, well, solid biofuel. Which means now that I don't really need these biomass generators, because I really don't need any of these, I can use all the fuel that I have from this setup to actually power the truck and make the truck go back and forth, which is pretty good. And so our biofuel is hooked up, and we're gonna make this one be an unloading station. So this is going to be unloading anything we put into our tractor over here. Now, just gonna place it perfectly in here, and then we have to open the record menu, and then we have to start recording. Then we have to go to the other docking station that's all the way over in the coal area, and then we need to come back and loop around to this one. So yeah, so now we're recording, which means we can just go. Of course, we do need to be very careful with any corners we do. We have to slow down, we have to pay attention to heights and walls and all those things, because we want to keep it as straight as possible, because he will remember any curves that you do. Of course, this being an AI, it won't exactly replicate everything perfectly. And for example, here I have to be very careful, so the guy will never hit that wall, and he most likely will no matter what. So we are now reaching the other one, so we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna tell it to load cargo. And it's gonna, well, deposit nothing because there's nothing yet. But then after a while, just wait a little second, and then you can keep going. And now I need to go back, and we should be finished. And we can even press to unload, so it remembers that it has to unload. And boom, there we go. Now we go to the menu again, and then we have to hit save. And what we're gonna call this? Let's call this steel to base. There we go. And then the path now has been recorded, which means we can now enable autopilot. And I don't believe it's gonna do it with us in here, but it should at any moment just drive off. Oh, I think I loaded the path. So if I now get off, can you move? Oh, there it goes. Well, I turned around for a second, and then you can see there he goes. Now I'm gonna follow him because I know he's gonna hit something. Like I know for sure that he's just gonna hit something. Like this is probably the hardest part. Like he's really slowing down, and I really like to see that they did a lot of improvements to them. Oh, it went smoothly here. Okay, then I just have to see on this side. But so far so good. Man, he's doing the track so well that I'm just gonna let him be, you know? I'm just gonna actually give him something to transport now. So what have I done? Well, I brought here that pure iron node, which means we got 120 iron, and I overclocked the third coal one. So we now have 120 coal right here. And basically, to make steel, we're gonna be using a foundry. Now, the foundry has, well, kind of a weird recipe for steel, because it's 45. It's not like a certain number, but we can work with this, right? We can work with this. So it's 45, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lower this to 40, which is exactly what we did with the concrete in the first episode, or last episode, I should say. And then we're gonna have an exact 120 input for 3 boundaries, just like this. Which means now we just have to split the coal and the iron, and we will be making steel ingots. Now we have 120 steel ingots, which means we then are going to be putting them into constructors. Now if we take a look at the constructor recipe, you can see that the steel beams actually take 60 per minute, so it's literally half. So we could do 30 steel beams per minute, but I do still want the rods. So take a look at the rod recipe, it's only 30 per minute. But I'm not gonna do 2 constructors worth of steel pipes. I'm actually gonna do 2 constructors worth of steel beams. But what am I gonna do? I'm basically gonna do 1 full speed and 1 at 50% speed. And basically it's gonna take 60. And then this one, if you let it be full, it's gonna take, no, this one's gonna take 60, this one's gonna take 30, and then the other 30 will be yep, this one, turned into steel pipes. And that's basically what I'm gonna do with this. Now all of them are connected, all of them are producing, and I didn't really care about mixing up the items right now, because basically I'm just trying to send as many steel beams and as many steel pipes back over to my factory. So I'm basically just gonna use a single belt. I'm actually gonna put a couple of containers. I still have the basic container, I want a better container. So I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm just gonna connect this into there and connect it into there, which means even if this guy is full, because my container at my base is full, it will still stockpile the items here. And as you can see, it's already starting to transport the steel beams and the steel pipes, and that's very, very good for us, which means even if I AFK, we should be starting to make tons and tons of this, which means you can unlock more things in the hub. Oh, and if you enter your car, you can actually toggle the arrows off, so you don't actually see those arrows, like the blue arrows from the track. And it's with this amazing view that we have our power plant going, we have some basic steel production, and this factory is still gonna hold a lot more. But for today, that's all the time we're gonna have. So, as always guys, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and see you in the next one. Bye!